happy Sunday evening. I know most people are preparing for their week or watching Sunday night football, but hope you had a great weekend and even better and blessed Sunday. Hope the word that you received today was one that was specifically for you, directly from the mouth of God. Hope you had a chance to make it to church today. So if you don't know, I recently released my first jook, my first self-published jook, I'm calling it, a journal book where I share out of my personal journal. And I created a space for you to share your reflections and your words as well. And so I just want to share one of my favorite entries, and they are directly out of my diaries that I've kept over the last 25 years. And it's more than a story. It is a journey that is only complete when you add your thoughts. And so you'll read, whether it's a poem, whether it's just freehanded writing and thoughts that I share with you, and then you'll have a question or a reflective statement that you have an entire week to reflect on and to give your thoughts. There are 52 entries, which means there's one for every week, and I hope you really enjoy it. So I want to share with you one of my favorites, and it's called A Seat at the Table. And the quote says, "If you don't have a seat at the table, bring a chair." And so essentially, create your own space. I'm sure some of you have heard that quote before. Create your own space and don't wait for someone to give you permission. If the space doesn't seem to be there, either bring your own table or bring your own chair. And so here's a poem that I wrote that is part of my joke. It's one of my favorite entries, and I want to share it with you in hopes that you enjoy it and are encouraged by it. And so it says, "The invitation is disarming, your seating arrangement humbling, but your words are missing. What is a seat at a table of silence while we are not listening to the orator speak or the moderator who greets? What is a seat at the table of silence when he gave you the words to speak and the ability to change hearts that are weak? Do not be meek and unable to speak, for he said in his word, if they don't receive you, shake the dust off your feet." And then I posed the question for you. During this week of reflection, think about the tables that you had the pleasure of sitting. Think about the round tables where you sat, the tables where you participated in the breaking of bread. How did you arrive at those tables? What were the circumstances behind your presence? Like reservations at your favorite restaurant, there is a table with a reserved seat waiting for you. Be sure to be vocal, visible, and unforgettable in this setting. It was prepared for you by someone appointed to you. Plan your next talking points. Be intentional and direct. And so I just want to encourage you that if you get to a table, and allow this table to be symbolic of a space, whether it's at work, at home, in the church, if you feel like you're at a table that the Lord has sent you to be, and there's seemingly no space, you need to begin to speak those things that are not as they are. You need to speak to that mountain and tell it to be thou removed. And most of all, you need not to wait for permission to sit at a table that God has sent you to sit. And once you get there, make sure that you're vocal, make sure that you're heard, and make sure that you're intentional. For there are words that God has given you specifically to speak to a person that is in that room. And again, allow that table to be symbolic of anything, of any place that you find yourself, where you know that your words are intentional, you know that your words are influential. And once you get into that space, and once you say what God has told you to say and be and do what God has told you to do, it is not up to us whether someone has received it. It is only up to God, who has pierced their hearts and prepared them to receive a word specifically from you. And so a seat at the table may mean you bring your own chair. But what it doesn't mean is that you go in second guessing yourself. You have to go in with all confidence that God has given you the power to speak to the mountains and tell them to be thou removed and cast into the sea. And so I encourage you to pick up my joke. And I have so much more to share with you. And I hope that word and many more going forward will encourage you and get you ready for your week. Remember that the book or the joke is available at squareup.com/store/Tashyra's-voice. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Tashyra's Voice. And all of us have that voice. We'll talk about that later. All of us have a voice. All of us have vocal cords. All of us have a sound. There is someone waiting for your sound. And And so again, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Tashyra's Voice, and on Facebook as well. And every Tuesday, remember to tune into Reach Radio or reachgospelradio.com at 8:20 p.m. for Tashyra Talks. It's an empowerment moment. Yes, I'm taking over Tuesdays. Thank you so much, and hope you enjoyed your week. May God continue to bless you, and I'll talk to you soon.